The 49ers are NFC West champs. Brock Purdy is 2-0. We are going to take a look at every play from the 49ers offense in their victory over the Seattle Seahawks last Thursday. Next on the 49ers Film Review with Jack Hammer. Hey everybody, Jack Hammer here, ready to bring you the film breakdown of the 49ers' big win from Thursday night over the Seattle Seahawks. I know we're a little bit late on this one. The game took place a couple days ago, but it is time to get to it. Took the weekend off, wanted to come back now refreshed, bring you guys some great content. We'll go through this game. Before we get started real quick, just want to shout out Lucas Pesci. He's a member of the 49ers Toolbox, or the Hammer. He is a member of the Toolbox here on the Jack Hammer channel. If I could speak, it'd be a lot easier. But Lucas, it's good to have you on here. Lucas I got the chance to meet with Lucas, if you don't know, a couple weeks ago at the 49ers game against the Buccaneers. That was awesome. So great to have him on board. And we have Mark Scott, who says Alcatraz. And I think he's talking about the 49ers defense and how dominant they are and how they just lock teams down. So that's another good one as well. So let's get into it. We're going to go through the game. Take us about an hour, a little bit more than that probably. But we'll go through every play and we'll probably dissect a couple more here and there. So let me bring up the film and we're going to get it rolling. 1st and 10. And the 49ers backed up to start this game. 21 personnel. 49ers lived in 21 and 11 personnel in this game for the most part until late in the game. They started to use a little bit of 12, but they opened up with a little toss here to the left side. I was a little surprised to see them running outside early on, knowing that Al Woods wasn't in the middle. I thought they'd be wanting to try to hammer that up inside, but they start off with I think this is just supposed to be a little zone toss, but because of the pressure up inside, it gets bounced to the outside, and McCaffrey's able to pick up a gain of 3. Hey, Cam, good to see you. I haven't seen your name there in a while, so it's awesome to have you on board. Thanks for joining. And 2nd down, 21 personnel again. They're going to be a little play action boot out here to the right side. They do a good job down with the 2 deep guys. Don't really give anything to Purdy. Doesn't really have a whole lot of space to work right there, so he just dumps this off underneath to Kittle for a short gain of a couple. Seahawks did a good job here on the deeper routes and then getting underneath the crossing route by Brandon Ayuk. So really good job there on the backside. Hey, Sean 9519ers, good to see you here too. 3rd and 5 now. 49ers, 3rd and 5. Say it with me, everybody. 3rd and 5, and that means the 49ers are going to be in what? 11 personnel. That's right. Every time that they are on 3rd down, they go to 11. But it's one of those things that they do, and it works out for them more times than not. 11 personnel. The Seahawks bring an extra one, and this was close to being a 1st down, but McCaffrey just not able to get his arm extended. Pretty good coverage across. He decided to work the right side. If he'd worked to the left side, it looks like he might have had a little bit better chance of picking up the 1st down right there at the 20. But instead, he goes the other direction and just not able to get his hands extended quite far enough is McCaffrey. So we watch it from this end. I think that's 11. It's tight. So I think there was one more. Sorry. I'm just looking at this one really quick because I said that it looked like that inside guy was open. So it's actually this one here. The 2nd man in is the one that looks like he's open. Ayuk looks like he's covered pretty well, but that the underneath route by McLeod looked like it was open. I think he comes back to something similar to that a little bit later. Can't really see it from here. You don't see that. You see Ayuk's route, and then the camera moves before you see the under route coming. But it was a good, it's a start. He hit his first 2 throws, 6 yards total. They're not able to pick up the 1st down there. But open up the 2nd possession, and they're right back into 21. Like I said, they were pretty much in 21 and 11 throughout this first half. Mark Scott 49er says he's watching on the big screen. This is awesome. Awesome. That's even better. Glad you got the big screen going for you. So they're going to come out 21 personnel, motion play action in this little screen here to McCaffrey. It's a nice little way to start it. You get a nice little, it's not a chunk play, but you get a nice 7-yard gain to get you into a second and short. Run this screen out here to the right side off of play action, kind of help to keep the linebackers inside, which helps get McCaffrey out on the edge. Nice block by Burford there on the first guy. It's now 2nd and 3. And still in that 21 personnel package, they have Kyle Juszczyk down here at the bottom, standing up. He's basically played this game as a second tight end for the most part. Zone to the left and just a gash of a run by Christian McCaffrey right there. 49ers offensive line so much better in the zone, and this is the kind of run from McCaffrey that we've been seeing from Jordan Mason, right? Where they run zone and it just opens up and he makes these big gains. But look at the blocking up front. He sees the cutback lane quick. The linebacker kind of overruns it a little bit here. Watch 56 and 57. 56 gets a little bit ahead of it. So he's got to keep that leverage there, and there's nobody on the backside. Really nice run by McCaffrey. Good blocking up front. They create the hole. Good vision, seeing that cutback lane and explodes through it for a nice gain of 23. So 1st and 10 at the 44, 21 personnel again. Same formation as what they just did. Looks like the same play as well. This time he doesn't get the cutback lane like he did the time before, so he's got a little bigger pile to work with. But he's able to stick it up in there and pick up 3. Look at that. It's the same formation. Still got Juszczyk over here on the line of scrimmage, just like they had on the last play. It's all the same. They're just coming right back to what just worked. This time you get a little bit more penetration at the point of attack. They get better flow on the backside there as well, and the linebacker as well. So overall, much better defense by the Seahawks, and the 49ers are unable to open it up. So that brings us to 2nd and 7. Still in 21 personnel here. And they're going to run the toss out here to the right. Do a nice job of getting to the edge. It's a good, well blocked at the point of attack by the 49ers. This is where they're at their best, when they're able to run their zone stuff with their toss. That's really what works best for their offensive linemen for most of the time. Everybody's working up to the second level. There's your lead. Nice little cut inside, and not a big play, but a nice gain of 4 sets you up in a 3rd and short, 3rd and 3. So 3rd down now, 11 personnel. Ray McLeod down here at the bottom. It's 3rd down. So where's he going to go? That's right. Gets it to 15. Nice, easy throw, easy read. He's able, remember the previous one where the little underneath route came open? They go back to a similar concept here. You're going to get the vertical by the up route, the higher route by Ayuk takes the underneath the fender, and then you're going to have 15 run right into it, and it's not a hard throw, a hard read, and Purdy executes it perfectly. Ayuk runs through, which opens up the hole for Chains to get into. That's Juwan Jennings' nickname. 3rd and Juwan or Chains, either one, whichever you want to pick. So there's your 1st down, gain of 8. So now 1st and 10, you're across midfield at the 41, back to 21 personnel, and they're going to try to be a little tricky here. And this is an interesting one, because I've talked a lot about how when the 49ers go in motion like this with Kyle Juszczyk, usually that's the direction of the run. So they come in here and they kind of try to counter that up. They motion Juszczyk across, but what they're trying to do here is they're trying to get the flow going with Juszczyk and then coming the opposite direction. Seattle doesn't really bite on that. They stay pretty squared up and nowhere to go. A nice tackle. Second and 10. Just a nice little check down for a gain of 11. Just it's nice. Watch how it's just how decisive he is. He hits his back foot. He's looking at Ayuka on the cross. It's not there, so he hangs. He looks. He finds McCaffrey over here on the left side open, and he kind of has to change his platform a little bit because he's got the man coming in front of him. You can kind of see him leaning down to his left, a little bit sidearm, and gets out of the way so he doesn't get hit. And a nice little gain of 11. Let's watch this from the backside. You'll probably see him dip a little bit to his left, to his right, our left, and looking at it as he makes this throw. Let's see. See that little sidearm action? That guy's coming at him, just kind of sidearm it, wings it out to him. Nice throw, puts it on. That's one of the things that's been really impressive with Purdy is he's able to make throws off platform. It doesn't have to be perfect form every time. He can make throws in all kinds of different angles. Sometimes he's there, sometimes he's not. He's a little inaccurate at points, but really good throw so far in this game right there. Little lead to the left. Only picks up a couple. That's the 49ers little counter that they've been running. They've run this play a lot, this counter where they bring the guy from the backside. There's the guards kicking out, lead up through with Juszczyk, and good job by the linebackers for Seattle to stay home. So 2nd and 8, 49ers are in 21 personnel, and this is going to be one of the tricky plays. They're going to score a touchdown here. They're bringing Ray-Ray McCloud in motion. This is a play that if you go back, you've seen the 49ers have run this play a number of times over the years. They don't run a lot every year, but on my Twitter I put up there. You'll see this play is up there. They actually ran the same play almost out of the same look last year in Week 18 in Los Angeles, and this is a play that comes from the playbook of Bill Walsh. He runs a play very similar to this, dates all the way back to 1985 in the Super Bowl against the Miami Dolphins. A play similar to this, where it's kind of a screen. Looks like it's going to be screens to the outside on both sides, with the tight end leaking up the middle. His Super Bowl 19 play to Russ Francis is a little bit different than this one, but there's another one from 1987 with Steve Young throwing to John Frank that looks just like this. So you get the motion. There's the fake, and then right up the middle, there's nobody there, and nice job by George Kittle at the top. But let's just watch this again. You get that motion and look at the flow. They're reading, they're checking. He fakes up there to the left, so now you have two Seattle defenders trying to tackle McCloud. Now he fakes out here to McCaffrey, which draws these two defenders down here, plus the safety up the top. George Kittle just sneaks out. Again, doesn't have to be planted. He's not even set. He just turns, he hops, and makes the throw. Really nice play. Watch. There's no wasted motion with him to have to set. Fake, move, throw. Really nice play by George Kittle at the end to get that across the goal line. So really nice job by the 49ers there. And this is a play, like I said, this is an old 49ers play that dates back to the 84. It wasn't a double screen, I don't think, when Montana ran it in the Super Bowl. But again, it's very similar to this. You get the guys going out, right? Each guy going to the flat, the quarterback looking each direction. You've got the right guard pulling out here for McCaffrey to really sell that screen look over in that direction. There's the 1, the 2, and Seattle has no idea where the ball is, and right up the gut for 28 yards out for a touchdown. And at this point, Brock Purdy 6 of 6 for a touchdown. So really nice start to the game for Brock Purdy. I'm going to just pause here for a second. Got a super chat I want to hit up. This is from Stefano Hamam. He says, hey, Jack, is there a succession plan for Adam Peters to replace Lynch? If there isn't, I can't imagine him being gone after this year. There's a possibility of that taking place, of him being gone after this year. I don't know of any succession plan that's in place currently. If there is, it's pretty much under wraps. But I do think that it would be a loss, because I think you look at this 49ers front office and Adam Peters and John Lynch and that whole crew are so good with what they do. If Adam Peters was to be hired away from the 49ers, I think that would be a loss for their personnel department. And then Sean 9519ers earlier says there's no way that Washington can score this week. They will have to be on special teams or an offensive turnover on our side. He thinks it's going to be a 38-3 win over Washington on Saturday afternoon. Yeah, and they don't run this play very often. It was 2018 I saw. I definitely saw the one from 2021 last year down in Los Angeles, and then this one. It's not something you want to run a ton of, but it's something that we've seen them practice quite a bit. So nice stuff there. And now we're going to open up the third possession, and this is where things start to kind of unravel for the 49ers. They had a really good that first drive was a really nice 90-yard drive down the field, or almost 90. It was an 86-yard drive down the field for a touchdown. They're going to get really good field position here to start at midfield after a defensive stop. And I think this is a miss by Brock Purdy. The 49ers are starting this off in 21 personnel. He's going to boot out here to his right. Gets quick pressure from the defensive end. So he needs to move. But in moving, he moves a little too fast. I think let me just let this run. But I'm going to say what I think is happening. I think he's coming out here to the right. He's getting pressure off the edge, kind of running into it, and then he just takes off running the other direction because I think he's overrunning on this one to move over, and that's something that happens with younger quarterbacks. Greg Cosell, who works for NFL Films, talks about this quite a bit. It was something that he talked about in reference to guys like Trey Lance or the guys from that draft class. When I look at this one, I just feel like if he takes this and instead of sprinting to his left, I mean, he can take a couple steps if he wants to, but if he keeps his eyes down the field and kind of keeps his shoulders up, keeps himself, he doesn't have to rush quite so much because he does have the blocker there. So doesn't really even have to completely turn his hips and run. If he just kind of hits his spot, maybe takes a step to his left and then, resets, he right about this point, if he goes to throw it, if we take it back just a little bit, like if he just had resets himself, he has Brandon Ayuk coming open over the middle. I know there's linebackers there, but watch the way when he starts to move, and then at the top of his drop right here, it's not very well covered, but as he moves, look at what happens. As he starts to slide, if he's just sliding and keeping himself in a throwing motion, what's happening is this linebacker that's in the middle of the field starts to drive on 44. So if he had just slid right here, and right now he's if he's getting his hips turned around to make a throw, I think he can get this ball to Brandon Ayuk for a big gain over the middle. Brandon Ayuk agrees with it because he doesn't like the fact the ball doesn't come to him. I think it was a possibility. It's a tough one. It's a completion, so it's a positive play. But when you look at this possession, one of the things when you have missed throws that I always like to do, and I do this with Jimmy Garoppolo, I do it with Trey Lance, with any quarterback, if I think there's a play that's missed, it's what happens during the rest of the possession. This is a possession the 49ers don't score in. So instead of getting a big play down the middle to open up this possession off of play action, they end up getting a short gain. I think he just needs to slide over here to the left, reset, and throw. And there's plenty of room. Doesn't really even have to layer it over the linebacker because there's a hole between those linebackers if he had gone there. Checks it down instead. The positive here is that it's a completion. It's a couple of yards. It's also the other positive is he didn't try to throw it over the middle and screw it up and make a bad throw that gets intercepted. So, it's not the worst play in the world. It's not like that the 49ers win this game, so it doesn't cost them in this game. But that's one of those little things that you see with him. We talked about it last week in the game against Tampa Bay where you see him move at times and his eyes come down and he loses track with the further downfield plays. You might remember that on the one short completion over the middle to George Kittle for about 12 when he had the over route instead that he missed. Kind of a similar thing there. So a little bit of pressure, his eyes come down, and that's something that if you're watching him on film, you might, if you're, you might want to come after him and try to see if you can get that. But he actually does a pretty good job mostly when you're blitzing it. Most of the time it's more within structure when he has an issue with pressure. Comes right back from that, though, hits a quick little out here to Brandon Ayuk for 3. He decided to work early on that side. If he'd worked the other side to the left side, he's got the two. He works the two receiver side, the two, and he throws to the right guy, which is down here, which is Brandon Ayuk. If he'd worked to his left side, look what happens over there. He works to the right, though. You can't work both sides. You're working one side or the other most of the time on these routes. If you decide you're going to work on the right side and it opens up, you throw that direction. But if he had worked on the left side, he would have had a shot play to that's Kyle Juszczyk up there at the top of the screen. It's going to be a tough one. It might not have been the best, but because of the tight coverage up there, it's kind of a little tight along the boundary. Instead, you get the little throw here. And even this isn't bad right now at this point, because now you're still set. You're at 3rd and 6. It's 3rd and manageable. You're going to pick up in right here. You're in 11 personnel, and you're going to get some quick pressure off the edge. Mike McGlinchey's going to call for holding because he tackles him. You know, look at what happens. I mean, the play is a first down. From Purdy. So if McGlinchey doesn't get called for a hold right here, you're now moving the sticks, and the fact that you had a couple of missed throws don't really hurt you so much. But 52 right here gets off really quick, which is trouble for McGlinchey. And if he doesn't take him to the ground, if they don't go to the ground right there, I think he would have been fine if he'd just been able to keep running him up. But he loses his footing and drives him down. I think 52 is a little bit shorter than him, kind of plays a little bit of a role in that. But that's why it could have been a first down, even with a couple of what I think were maybe one missed opportunity on that earlier on. You would have had a first down right here. Instead, you're getting a hold on McGlinchey, which is going to back you up. So instead of it being 3rd and 6, now you're stuck in 3rd and 16. So out of 11 personnel again. You're working to the top side of the screen there. You're working these two vertical routes up here. And that's it's a tough one because, they're doing a good job of dropping. So they're covered there. And he's going to check it down over here over the middle to McCaffrey instead of to George Kittle. He has those two guys both underneath. They tried to get guys past the sticks, and I think it would have been a tight shot for him. If you looked at it from the other one, good protection though up front. Foreigners' offensive line has been really good. That ball got hit. His arm got hit as he threw it. You could see the wobbler. So there's your first bad possession of the game for the 49ers. You take that into the they go ahead and run out. They get the offsides on 4th and 7. I don't know why they went ahead and punted. I don't know why you're at the end of the quarter here, you run this little thing to try to see if you can draw them off, and you do. Now you got 4th and 2. Now you're in a position where you can actually go for it, but instead Kyle Shanahan decides to punt. It works out for him. They get the ball back. Actually, the Seahawks have done a pretty good job on this one, so the 49ers lose a little bit of field position here. 21 personnel. Give me a run to the left side. Zone to the left. This is what the 49ers are best at. They're best when they're running when they can get their zone, because that zone gets the guys moving. You got Brunskill back in now at right guard in place of Burford here. Block. Would have liked to have seen him keep this. Once he makes the cut, decides that he wants to get up into the pile, I would like to have seen him bounce this to the left right here. Boom, and then get to your left, because look at the blocking. With his eyes, if he was able to get his eyes between 64 and 60, he's got a lot more room than where he runs himself into. Kind of ends up there at the end anyway. It's a nice gain of 6, but it probably would have been a gain of about 10 or so if he had been able to find it a little quicker. 21, you're going to go play action boot out to the right. Boom. Wide open is Brandon Ayuk, and he puts it right on him. Nice little play by Ayuk to make the first man miss. and pick up a couple extra. Nice throw by Purdy. Really, really nice throw here on the run. There's the fake. Look at all the movement in the backfield and opens up Ayuk. It's about as wide open as you're going to get on that kind of a play. As long as you get out in front of him, you're fine. That was a good throw. Really nice play. Now 1st and 10, 11 personnel, kind of breaking the trend a little bit. They'd been running 21 personnel on first down. Every first down to this point had been out of 21 personnel. So Kyle Shanahan decides here that he's going to come out with a little bit of 11, and they're going to run McCaffrey. I believe it's going to be a zone to the right. Trapped. Little zone to the right side, and they pick up a couple, but you're going to get the block in the back from Brandon Ayuk here. See the zone blocking. Everybody's going to the right, and you're going to get the block from Kittle on the backside. So that's where the cut comes, right there, and then there's the block in the back. Ayuk's block in the back actually helps make the tackle. So instead of having first, second, and 6, now they're stuck with 1st and long. They picked up a couple yards there, but you lose it because of the 10-yard back block in the back. So 1st and 10, back to 11 again. Kittle's going to go over the middle here to check it down to Kittle for a nice little gain to 9. Good coverage downfield. Look at the deep route here by I think that's Kyle Juszczyk down here at the bottom. He's covered by the corner. The inside guy there running the vertical has the safety running inside of him, so he's covered. And you've got 2 guys underneath Brandon Ayuk at the top. So you got the 2 check down guys at the 40. One of them McCaffrey, the other one's Kittle. He goes to the one right in front of him, and Kittle. And Kittle's able to pick up 9 yards. It's a really nice, good job. All taking downfield. Hit your check down, take what you can get. So now you're in 2nd and 9. And this is one of the first times that up to this point, he's 11 for 11 is Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy right here is 11 of 11 for 98 yards coming into this one. It's 2nd and 9. They're in 11 personnel of the 49ers, and he sees that he's got you can see that they're bringing the blitz. He sees it coming. He goes to the right spot, and he just makes a bad throw. He's kind of falling back, and that causes the ball to sail on him a little bit, and he's behind. He's got the pressure right in his face, and this is one of the few times where we've seen him really kind of buckle with pressure in his face and make a poor throw. Most of his other poor throws have been wide open throws where he hasn't had any pressure around him. This time he's got the safety right in his face, unblocked. The safety doesn't even try to make a play on the ball. The safety just goes right for him and takes him out. Watch this one. Watch the safety come up, and he just goes right for him. Purdy has room to get it out in front of him, but the pressure falling back. I think he's trying to protect himself a little bit. That's a tough shot. It should have been a 1st down, but the pressure gets to him a little bit here, and I think he's trying to protect himself. See the ball just sail on him. And 3rd and 9, 11 personnel again here. He's going to go up to the top of the screen to Brandon Ayuk. It's kind of a little bit of a delayed pressure. He's got guys there, but the ball's coming out too soon on this one. He needed to have a little bit more patience with this ball in terms of the delivery time, because where he's throwing the ball, Ayuk's never going to get to that spot. He's kind of guessing where Ayuk's going to go, because look how early he's throwing it. The ball's already coming out. Ayuk hasn't even turned around. He's throwing that ball 2 yards back further with where Ayuk was. So he's got a ways to go, and so that's why this ball is. I think he saw the pressure. He just got hit on the play before. I think he just wants to get the ball out of his hands here, and as a result, he makes a bad throw. I think if he just held on to it another split second, like maybe of a pat of the ball in terms of length, he would have had a better idea of where Ayuk was going to be turning around, because you can see that ball just coming out too soon. The timing on this one is, we like to see, the quick on time throws, but this one's just a little bit too early from Brock Purdy. Watch this one again. Let's watch when he starts to throw, where because he sees the pressure coming. He sees 5, so he feels like he's going to have pressure. And look where Ayuk is. Ayuk's right now at the 42, and that ball's starting to be thrown. Ayuk turns around 5 yards further downfield and doesn't have a chance to make any kind of a play on the ball. This ball just came out too soon. Got to hold on to it a little bit longer. That's where that little bit of patience helps out. I understand it's hard when you're playing with, bruised, injury and rib injury that he's dealing with, and you just got hit. I understand. But that's one where you got to be able to step in there, stand in there, and be able to hold on just a little bit longer and then let it fly. So you got those 2 back-to-back possessions kind of ruined by penalty. The hold on McGlinchey brings the one back to a couple of bad throw. Thought it was a couple of questionable decisions on the third possession by Purdy. And then you get the hold by McGlinchey, sets you back, and so you end up punting there. This one, you get the block in the back, backs you up. You missed the throw on 2nd and 9. You missed the throw on 3rd and 9, and so you have to punt. So there's a combination of Purdy getting behind the sticks a little bit and just not being very precise. He'd been really good up until that point. He was 11 for 11 before the miss to McCaffrey, and then you get the second miss. And then it kind of starts a little bit of a run of some rough play from Purdy here, where now we're looking at 1st and 10. They're in 11 personnel again. Remember, they start off in all 21 personnel on first down. So they're trying to break it up a little bit. They get into 11. Pretty good coverage across the field on that one. He makes the throw to George Kittle. There's pretty good pressure there, or there's not very much open. It's going to be a tight window throw wherever he goes on this one. If you look at the coverage, just needs to get this ball out in front a little bit more. He does a good job of standing there. Just needs to throw this one out a little bit more. If he throws this out in front, this is a completion, but because it's a little bit behind, Kittle's got to turn into the man, and the defender's able to get his arms up in there and through it and knock that ball away. But that was a really good effort by 85. Good read by Purdy. He just needs to get the ball out in front of him. Let's see if we can see it from this angle. Just got to lead him a little bit more on this one. There's your play action. Does a good job of sliding in the pocket. I like the fact that he's not just sitting there. He does a good job of sliding around and doing very subtle little movements in the pocket at times, and that's a really good one. So, like earlier, that play I was talking about earlier, where I said he just needs to slide a little bit. It's more like this. Watch how he's going to feel that pressure coming off the right side, and you see how he just kind of takes a couple steps to the left, and he's able to set and throw. If he had done that, see how quickly. It's not like he's got to really move that far. He only moved probably a good yard and a half to his left to get enough time to get the ball out of his hands. That's what I'm talking about on that throw to Ayuk. Now, in this one here, he's got it. He's thrown to the right spot in terms of the right player, just not the ball. This ball needs to be out here more to the left. It needs to be more out to his left for 85 to be running to it instead of turning back into the defender. The throw by Purdy there, good decision, bad throw. Brings up 2nd and 10. Eleven personnel again. This one's going to be a scramble. Pressure right up in his face, and does a good job of moving. It's a really nice play by 13. Show some wheels there. He's going to get quick pressure in his face. There's nowhere to go with it right away. Let's watch him here. He sees the hole open to his left, and he takes off and gets 7. That's a really nice play by 13. There was a 5-yard offside penalty on the Seahawks that the Friars take instead of that. So 2nd and 5, 11 personnel again. We're at 30. A little zone run here to the left side. I believe it's going to be a zone. It is. And he does a nice job of cutting back, and you get the one linebacker that stays home on the backside, and McCaffrey's not able to beat him. So watch, they're going to run the zone here to the left. McCaffrey's going to do a nice job of cutting off of this and getting backside. That linebacker just does a really good job of not over pursuing, and he squares them up. Makes a really nice tackle for after a gain of 4. Third and 1 out of the gun. Probably going to be they're a little bit inside. Looks like a little inside zone. Nice little run. Good push by the 49ers on this one. Basically, they're utilizing. They're in 12 personnel there, and they're almost like it's almost with what they did with 15 right there. Look how they bring him in. It's almost like they're utilizing as a third tight end. They did that. They do that again later on down by the goal line where they utilize him almost as a tight end in an 11 personnel set. That was the first time the 49ers got into 12. That was the first time that Tyler Kroft touched the field. First and 10, back to 21, like they were earlier in the game. And run a toss out here to the right. Just nowhere to cut to. All the flow going out in that direction, and there's nowhere for McCaffrey to cut that thing back. At least from that angle. Let's see from this one. Yeah, it's about as good as he can do. All right, we got 2nd and 9. And this one this is going to be a little 21 personnel. They're going to run a little screen here to the left. Really good job by Seattle to sniff that out. The defensive linemen don't get upfield enough. Sorry, I went back too far. They just don't get upfield enough. Those defensive linemen don't get upfield enough. The one linebacker does a good job of staying home. Good job by those Seattle defenders to retrace their steps, and they're able to make a nice play there. So 3rd and 11, 2-minute warning. And it's going to be nearly intercepted. All right, here we go. This is the near pick over the middle to Juwan Jennings. You got that backside safety coming across. It looks like he's going to have him. He's going to try to fit this in there. And where this ball's going, it's going to be underthrown. And that's part of the problem. Instead of being able to throw this up the seam to him, it's underthrown just a little bit. And that allows the safety. You can see Jennings having to start to break it off, and you got the safety coming across, and he's able to make the play. See, because you got that vertical route from 15, and this thing needs to stay. This ball that he's throwing needs to stay up the seam. Instead, it's more in the middle of the field, and it's short, and 15 just doesn't have a chance to make the play. It's a tough one. From him, it's a tough throw for Purdy there. It's not a very good ball. I think he's making the right choice, and I just think it's a bad throw. This ball needs to be more to the right. It needs to be more up the seam vertically. It needs to be more of a vertical throw. And it seems like Purdy's throwing him more across the middle here. You got a big break. That was a bad decision by 13. That ball, the decision was fine. The execution was bad. He's got the vertical routes open, but he's got to throw that ball up the field down the seam, down the hash. Instead, he's throwing that ball too far inside. He's leading him right into it. Let's watch it one more time from this angle. See how it's down see how the ball's down the middle? If he throws this thing up the seam, up the hash right there, I think he has a better shot. It's got to be a little bit higher. You got to have that safety come over the top. It's going to be a tight play regardless, but you got to make a better throw than that. We get the ball back here, 1st and goal at the 6, and you're going to get a run. by McCaffrey. 11 personnel to try to spread them out. Nice little zone run. Strong run by McCaffrey to get it down to the 1. Good job up front by the 49ers. Now you get second and goal from the 1. 11 personnel still. And this is where, it's 11 personnel, but you see where the alignment is of Juwan Jennings. He's lined up tight. He's basically like the 49ers are in their 12 personnel. They're just using him as a big wide receiver here, and he's going to block down, just wedge this thing out, and across the goal line goes McCaffrey for this touchdown. Fires up 14-3. Nice push here by Banks, and Trent Williams double teaming that guy, just driving him into the end zone, and they score. And then you get a kneel down here to end the first half. So not a bad half overall. A couple bad plays from Purdy. It's you've got the missed throw there to Jennings that was nearly picked. You had a couple of throws that I felt like could have picked up more yardage if he'd gone in different directions, or could have been complete if he'd gone in different directions. But for the most part, I thought he played pretty well. Not bad for a guy that's not a bad deal for a guy that's dealing with hurt ribs and all these kind of things, making his second career start, doing it up in Seattle. I don't call it a second career start because he played more snaps against Miami than in both of these. So anyways, here we go. 1st and 10, opening up the second half with the ball. They come out in 21 personnel. They're going to run a zone out here to the right side. Nice job of cutting up inside by McCaffrey to pick up 5. I'm going to stop it after this one just to talk about this next play because it's a really nice one. That's a nice push up front. Good job by the offensive line to create a little seam, and you get a nice gain of 5 there. And now you come out in 2nd and 5, furniture, and they're 21 personnel. You're going to get motion across by Juwan Jennings. This is a play the 49ers have run probably. They ran this play about 6 times against the Miami Dolphins once Purdy came into the game. They ran it a couple of times last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is the second touchdown from Purdy to Kittle. What you're going to get is and it's run the same every time. What's going to happen is this guy's going to run a little slant right here. He's number 1 in your progression. That's Brandon Ayuk on the backside slant. He's number 1 in the progression. And then at the top, what you get is Juwan Jennings. He's going to run a little inside hook curl route right around here, right around the 50-yard line, right around the numbers, or the hash, excuse me. And then you're going to get a corner out of the tight end from that number 2 receiver. And then the number 3 receiver, who is Kyle Juszczyk, he's going to come out here to the left side like a lead blocker. And you're going to have 23, McCaffrey, following him. So what you're going to get to the snap is watch. He's going to go backside. He's going to look to the slant. And it's not there because the guy that's defensive end, they've seen this play come. They've seen this play a number of times. Now he just slides right back into the slant lane. So there's nowhere to throw there. Okay. So now Purdy comes back to the other side. Now his next read is the middle to number 15, Jennings. Jennings is tied up with the linebacker. Now his next read on that is to go to the check down to McCaffrey to the left side. Well, as he starts to turn to go that direction, this is nice because now he's got a little bit, there's more patience here than what he was dealing with. Remember the miss to Ayuk earlier. I know you can't see the cursor, Mark. I'm sorry. I was trying to point it all out. But he sees the safety and the linebacker jump over the top. You go, and it's a touchdown for Kittle. But this is a play the Flyers have run a lot. So it's again number one down here at the bottom of the screen. That's your first read. Now number 2 read is the number 1 receiver on the 4 receiver side to the left side, which is Juwan Jennings. He's the wide receiver. He's going to run that little hook route. He's number 2 in the progression. Number 3 is your running back on the swing. Number 4 is the tight end on the corner. And it's always the same. And they'll do this out of different they do it kind of out of the same formation, but a little bit of different motions around and stuff like that. But they've run this play a ton of times. And this is one of those plays that, for me, when you hear people talking about how, oh, film study teams are going to figure it out. Well, here's a situation where film study actually helps the 49ers, because Seattle knows that what's coming. That's why you've got that guy on the backside robbing the slant. Number 10 is just waiting for that slant to be thrown. Okay. And now Purdy does a good job. He goes back to number 2. It's covered. Number 3 in the flat, the ball should come out right now. But as he starts to do it, he sees those guys falling, reset, throw the ball down the field, touchdown to George Kittle. Really nice, really good job by the quarterback. That's really good stuff. 1, 2, 3. Watch it here. From the backside, you're going to see him look to the slant. Not there. Boom. And it's up over the top. Just, it opens up. He's looking right at Jawan Jennings, because Jennings is number 2. And as he's looking at Jennings, he sees the guys flowing to the flat. He doesn't even go to the flat. He just goes over the top. Really nice play by Purdy there. Another nice tight up the middle run by McCaffrey for a gain of 9 to open up the next possession. Good job by that 49ers offensive line to open up some holes. 21 personnel again here, and they're going to run a little bit toss to the left. He just gets tripped up. It was there. It was there. Watch, he's got it. Oh, remember they called tripping against the Dolphins? This is tripping. Watch this one. This is definitely, if there was a trip, this guy's tripping for sure. Watch 27 out there. He knows that he's blocked. He definitely kicks himself out. He definitely knows what he's doing, but McCaffrey is able to still pick up the first down. So 1st and 10. Now you've got McCaffrey taking a break, and they're going to bring in everybody's favorite running back, Jordan Mason. They're going to run a little. It's going to be their counter run, and looks like McGlinchey gets beat, and that blows up the play. Looks like, watch McGlinchey here. He's the right tackle. I think he's going to get beat by 10. Yeah, he leans. 10 beats him, and then comes down and makes the tackle. So 69, the big Lynch makes the miss on this one. Here's this one is in the backfield. It's kind of that same motion that we saw before, where he starts to roll out to his right. Remember, they did this earlier in the game. They just don't do a very good job up front, because he's going to try. What he wants to do is he wants to step up, and looks like he wanted to try to hit that over route to 3, but it's covered. It's really good coverage. Everybody's covered here, because he's running into coverage here. This guy's running into coverage. He's covered. The only guy that's open is the check down. The pressure gets to him and brings Purdy down for a loss. Brendel just loses his man, and I think the man that he's coming across to block. So a couple of guys get to him, 3rd and 15. And this is really, I think this is just a little underneath screen to the wide receiver. And Ray McLeod does a really nice job, to catch it and taking off up the field. But they're running, this isn't anything special from Brock Purdy. This is just a wide receiver screen, like a wide receiver middle screen. Look at the you can see these guys down here. They're all pointing to who they're blocking. Everybody down here is blocking. All these receivers are blocking. Middle opens wide up, and there's just nobody there. And really nice job by Raymond McLeod to pick up 16 yards and a first down, move the sticks. Nice blocking downfield by the receivers. But there's one at 56 is right there. He just doesn't make the play, and got a little bit lucky there. But that's what happens. And you got a playmaker like McLeod, who's your third receiver now, usually your fourth, and he's able to pick it up. That play reminds me a lot of some stuff we used to see with Jim Harbaugh back in the day, little underneath receiver screen kind of action like that. So 1st and 10. One, two, three, four. They called an illegal formation on here, and I'm not sure exactly. They must be calling it on this tight end being too far off, because you've got one man on. You have to have 7 on the line. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's got to be on Kittle for being off the line of scrimmage over here. This left side needs to be up a little bit. See how far back they are? I think these guys are the ones that. This is where you're getting called. It's at the left side of the formation right there. You see where George Kittle is. George Kittle and Trent Williams. They're just so far back that Kittle's helmet is barely getting to Purdy's hip, and it needs to be up there closer to Jake Brendel's hip. So that's why this formation, this play comes back. It's called it's an illegal formation on George Kittle. It's going to be play action. This is the one. It's a nice play. Little boot slips, gets back up. He's able to keep his eyes down the field. Good job by McLeod to stop. Good job by Purdy to see it. Those two guys work together and they pick up the first down. Just it's too bad you have a bad lineup over here on the left side. Really nice job by 3 to stop, and Purdy sees it and sticks it on him. That's a nice little play. Unfortunately for the Farms, it doesn't count. So instead of having a first down, now you're back to 1st and 15. Back to your own side of the field. You could have been inside the 40, going the other direction. Nice completion to Jennings for 12. Nice ball here from Purdy. Just one step, boom, put it on him. Nice play by 15. Both those guys. Now you got 2nd and 3. So you screwed up on the one before, so you're right back in position. Now you're going to run here with out of 21 personnel with McCaffrey. Run the zone out here to the left, and just too much penetration. Let's see who gets beat over here. It looks like that's looks like it was Clinching. Let's go back to it one more time. I'm sorry. Looks like it's going to be right here. Watch McGlinchey and Brunskill. It's that's Brendel. Jake Brendel at the point of attack. His guy's the one that makes the tackle right here. Watch him. Gets in the 95, but he can't get his head across. 95 runs down the line and makes the tackle. So 3rd and 5. Really good coverage. There's nowhere to go with this ball. And Purdy ends up having to throw it away. The first slant's covered. The underneath right here is covered. This guy downfield, everybody's covered up, and he just keeps trying to find somewhere, moves, and then throws it away. Just good job of getting that ball out in front. Close to being a pass interference, but tough one. Nobody's open downfield. It's got to throw it that way. This is an interesting one here from the 49ers. So we're getting down to the end of the game. Not very much more here on our film breakdown. Got a couple more possessions. But this one's an interesting one because they're backed up all the way to their own 1-yard line. It's a tight game. you kind of think, okay, they're going to come out here and they're going to run the ball and try to get this thing out. Instead, on first down, they're going to come out throwing. So Kyle Shanahan believes enough in Brock Purdy to have him throw out of the end zone. Remember what happened when they did this in Denver? Was it just all heck happened, and you had a safety pick six. There's some pressure there. He's throwing at the right guy. That's going to be a completion, and the ball gets tipped at the line of scrimmage and kind of falls down. But he's throwing to the right spot. That's what you're looking for. 13's going to the right area. You're just going to get the guy off the right side. He's able to get his hands up and knock this ball down right there at the line of scrimmage. But it was a good play call. It's going to work. Good throw by Purdy. Good direction that he's going to, and just gets knocked down. Come back, and you're going to run up the middle here with 23 for a gain of 3. Get a little bit of breathing room. This is similar. This is basically the play they ran for the touchdown. Very similar. Now 3rd and 7. This is the first down. He's going to look to the right side. That's a tight window, and it's a good throw and a good catch. There's not much room there. That ball's got to be out on time, and it is, and he puts it in just in the right spot, and he puts it in a spot to Jennings where he can protect himself when he makes the catch. And it's not up here, it's not out here, it's up against his body. It makes it easier for him to make that catch and get hit and possess the ball. So that's a nice play right there. 1st and 10, they're going to run out to the right side. Just too much penetration again, and McCaffrey does a good job of getting that thing back to the line of scrimmage. Watch this thing out here to the right. You're going to see all that penetration coming through from Seattle. Spencer Burford and George Kittle both look like they get beat there on the play side, and there's just nowhere for them to go. So 2nd and 10 from the 15. That's a tough throw. That's a tough throw. Really tight window throw right there. Yeah, I think if that's Purdy was calling for that's a tough one. It's not much room there. It's not the best spot. I agree with you, Matt. He probably should have gone back to the right side and gone to George Kittle. Which is where he's looking. That's a better window than what he's throwing into. He throws the ball 3 yards in front of McCaffrey. The throw to Kittle is a better throw right there. Third down. You get the false start on 71. And a little one that bounces off the ground here to McLeod. There's not a whole lot open. Let's see what he's looking at. He's already under duress. Pressure. There's nowhere to go with it. He gets a little bit of pressure. He's having to smell the pocket and throws that one to the ground before it gets to McLeod. Nice little run up there into the middle by McCaffrey. It's a good run. 2nd and 4. That's a little counter action that they like to run so much. They're doing us a little bit different look with it, though, with how they're you get the first guy kick out, the second guy leads up through. They like to run this a lot. Let's see who's going to be the first man through. So it looks like you're going to get Kittle with the kick there. Now you got Hushek pulling up through. That's a really tight version of it. Really nice run all the way. Let's watch this one from the end zone. It's going to be a much prettier block. So it's going to be really tight because it's going to the weak side here. Short formation. So there's the kick out, and then 44 leads right up, so it's straight up the gut. Just it's that little counter action that they like to run where the kick and the pull up through. Kind of like a little bit of a power counter kind of run. Nice play. 3rd and 7. Or first down, 1st and 10. This is their 4-minute offense, basically. They're trying to run out the clock here. 2nd and 7. They're still 7.5 minutes, but they're trying to run this out. So now they're in 22 personnel. This is going to be a big shot play. They're going to run you got up at the top of the screen. Watch the block. Look at Tyler Croft. He goes out like he's going to block the corner, like this is an outside zone run. Everything looks like that from play sight. So you get everybody from the Seahawks biting on it. Purdy pulls it up. He's got 2 guys to choose from. He throws it to the outside guy. And nice pickup of 28 yards. So tough for the defense because everything about this looks like a run. Look at everything along the line of scrimmage, including the receivers that are going out for passes. And he's got both those guys open over there, and he hits the outside receiver, Croft, for a nice gain of 28. So now they're in business. They're in field goal position already. 1st and 10. You're going to get a run to the right side here out of 22 personnel, excuse me. Nice little gain of 3 by McCaffrey. Little bump. Nice run. 2nd and 7. 12 personnel now, so you got 2 tight ends. Bounce this thing up. Run it up the middle with a little bit too much penetration right there to get the feet moving. It's supposed to be kind of like a little bit of that counter. He's going to come up, get back outside, but there's just nowhere to go. Get that penetration, that quick penetration. Looks like 65 was beat, and so him and 71 are having to work. Now you've got an unblocked man as a result, and there's nowhere for him to go. Brings up 3rd and 6. 49ers going to 11 personnel. Now at the top of the screen, you've got Ayuk in the slot. And he just puts it on drop. Purdy puts it right on him. Yeah, there's no excuse for that one. It's just been a tough game all around for Ayuk in this one. That was a good throw from Purdy. It's a really good throw from Purdy right there. Now, this is the end of the game. This is the last possession. We'll get to it. Good job here for the 49ers. It's 4 minutes, around, I think a little bit less than 4 minutes, or right around 4 minutes. Open up with a run out here to the left side on a zone to the left. Nice pickup of 6. Good job up front. Good job by 23, making the cutback. Watch the zone walking out here to the left side. Just everybody gets movement, hat on a hat, and a good job picking up the right spot, the right cut lane for McCaffrey. Now 11 personnel again. think they're going to run it back the other direction. Yep, zone to the right. Starts to cut up there, and he gets caught just enough, but motion them over. They're going to run zone out here to the right side. And Trent Williams, man, is able to get his hand out there and do just enough to grab him. 3rd and 1. This is a big play in the game right here. 242. You're going to get the. This is a smart play by Brock Purdy. You're going to get bootleg out to the right, and he's going to hold on to it. Nowhere to go with it, but he does a nice job. He gets into a slide, but as he gets into that slide, getting that hand out in front to extend the ball just enough to be able to pick up the first down. And this is really the ball game right here. Nothing there, nowhere to throw it, and just a really nice slide on his part. So 1st down. Now you bring in the closer, the backfield, Mason. Nice tough run for a gain of 6. Again, there's a little counter type of action that they like to run out of that. That's going to set up 2nd and 4. Still another in 22 personnel, 2 tight ends, 2 backs. Going to run this thing to the right side. You notice Charlie Warner isn't getting any run anymore. It's all Tyler Croft. A little power to the right side and then just nowhere to go. Hey, there's Warner. He's going to come in and block. They want to throw the ball to him. Hand the stump. Nice aggressive run by the back there. Now it's 3rd and 2, and this is the one that closes it out. 22 personnel, and they're going to run this thing right over the left guard, right up the gut. Gets to the 2nd level, make the safety miss, and then it's off to the races. And the guy with the angle knocks him out of bounds at the 1. He outran everybody. Now let's watch this from the backside. You're going to get a pulling guard helping him on this one. Let's go look at that hole just open up, and 24 through it, and he's off to the races. Look at that nice play. Calls ball game, and now 1st and goal. Clock running, and they're going to just kneel it down, and this thing's over with. So there you have it. So there you go. It was a little bit different of a game, right? Brock Purdy was, I think, a little bit more efficient and effective in this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, even against Miami and the first game that he came into. Go back to it. I know they didn't start the Miami game, but he played more snaps against Miami, I think, than he played against Seattle and Tampa Bay. Those first 2 games were really good. This one, it wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad performance in any way. But there were a little bit of chinks in the armor, I think, with Brock Purdy in this one. A couple of times where he could have made throws that he missed, and late there in the 2nd quarter, you saw a couple plays that he missed as well. But for the most part, the big takeaways here were the double screen and how that was able to be opened up, and how that goes back to the Bill Walsh days when he was with the 49ers. And then that touchdown, the 2nd touchdown, that's the other one that really gets me excited with Purdy, because he looks to the right. He goes through the progression, and he's able to feel he's not rushing on that one, and he's able to get that ball out to Kittle for the touchdown. So really good stuff there. Hope you all enjoyed what you got to see tonight. If you guys can do me a favor, see a bunch of names that I haven't seen in the past over in the comment section, but if you guys could do me a favor before you head out, hit that subscribe button if you're watching the show and you're not already subscribed to the channel. And when you hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification so you know when we go live on the channel or any new content gets put up so you don't miss it. And then also hit the like button, please. The like button is the lifeblood for YouTube channels. The more likes that a particular show gets or content, the more it gets pushed out to more people. So if you could hit that like button for me as well when you watch this, if you like what you see, It'd be greatly appreciated. That's something I should probably start remembering to do throughout. But I appreciate you guys the time to watch this. Go through this video against the Seattle Seahawks. Do this every week, and the game will be coming up on Saturday against the Washington Commanders. So look for that film breakdown to occur either next Monday or Tuesday as well. But in the meantime, thank you. Hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. We'll be back tomorrow with some more content, and I'll also be at practice tomorrow as the Friars start to get ready for that game against Washington. So keep an eye out for some cool videos from that as well. Take care, everybody. Talk to you all soon.